Anthony Smith versus Jimmy Crute takes place this weekend on the main card of UFC 261, Usman versus Masvidal 2, and I can't wait for this light heavyweight bout. You've got the tough veteran Anthony Smith, who's had his title shot, seemed to slide a little bit in his career, but recently rebounded against Devin Clark, taking on another up-and-comer, Jimmy Crute, a very dangerous opponent for Anthony Smith that I do believe is going to beat Anthony Smith, but we'll get to that in a second. Jimmy Crute coming off 2 big wins in a row against Mikhail Aleksejczyk and also Modestas Bukauskas, both in the first round and both brutally as well, and both in different ways. After his loss against his last ranked test in Misha Serkinov, where it looked like he was on his way to a big TKO finish in the first round before getting Peruvian necktied out of nowhere by Misha Serkinov, he's since rebounded, won against Mikhail Aleksejczyk, where he showed absolute grappling dominance start to finish in the first round, completely ragdolled Mikhail Aleksejczyk like he was nothing, and actually set a record in one-round fights for the most takedowns achieved. Very good in record to get, in all honesty, for a young guy in his career in Jimmy Crute. But he took on Mikhail Aleksejczyk, destroyed him in one round with a submission by Kimura. He's got a couple of them in his career as well. Got one over Paul Craig not too long ago. Also, then afterwards went up there against Modestas Bukauskas, who was an up-and-comer, not really proven yet, but I think last time we saw him was against Mikhail Aleksejczyk, and he looked somewhat decent against Mikhail Aleksejczyk. In fact, I kind of thought he won the fight, to be honest with you, but still, Jimmy Crute took on Modestas, newcomer to the UFC. It was a little bit of a mismatch, but Jimmy Crute made it look like a mismatch, and that's what you need to do. If Jimmy Crute went out there and went to a razor-close decision with Modestas Bukauskas, who he was supposed to destroy immediately, it would raise some red flags. But if you're taking on cans, and you're taking on favourable matchups that are supposed to make you look good, I've got to give some kind of credit when you make it look really easy. And Jimmy Crute went out there, chopped at the legs of Modestas Bukauskas early, and then landed the big right hand when he needed to and put down Modestas in the first round. Very dangerous contender, Jimmy Crute. I think he's got a chance to go on and take that belt. Not take the belt. I'm not willing to say that just yet before this Anthony Smith bout, but if he does win against Anthony Smith in impressive fashion, you're joining the top guys of the division, because Smith's got wins over guys like Volkan Ozdemir. He's got some good wins in the light heavyweight division that go a little bit unnoticed, and he also has a big win recently against Devin Clark. Devin Clark sort of rushed out there a little bit early, went on the ground with Anthony Smith, and then got triangled immediately into the fight. I don't see Jimmy Crute doing that. He seems like a very good game plan follower, in all honesty, which is why I like him in this bout to win, and I think that's why he's such a big favourite, because he doesn't go out there and just risk anything. Like, he's not going to go out there and immediately go for a dumb takedown in the first round when they're nice and dry against Anthony Smith. He doesn't go out there and just swing for the fences to try and get a KO in the first round. Everything he does is planned, and you can see that in his bouts. Against Modestas Bukauskas, I can tell you the game plan right now was to chop down at the legs, slow down the movement of Modestas moving backwards, and then look to the right, land the big shots afterwards, and landed the right hand he did, because he landed it straight on the chin of Modestas. Brutal KO, and I think he's not going to get a KO this time. I do believe he'll go out there and beat Anthony Smith. I think it's a good matchup for Jimmy Crute. I think he'll avoid the takedowns and the ground game in the first round, and then start to go for his own takedowns in the second and third when things are a little bit more slippery, and it's hard to lock up certain submissions from the back that Anthony Smith likes so much. I think he's going to go out there in the first round, chop at Anthony Smith's legs, because of course we've seen guys chop at the legs of Anthony Smith before in his career, including Alexander Rakic. Reason being, Anthony Smith, very tall guy for the division, not a long reach, so he spreads his base and gets on the level with his opponents, so he can sort of be on their level. He's got a very wide stance, does Anthony Smith, and a lot of opponents have been able to chop at that leg so far in his career. I feel like Jimmy Crute's going to go out there and do exactly the same thing. Now, I don't think Anthony Smith's going to completely succumb to the leg kicks of Jimmy Crute, but I think it's going to be a factor in this fight as it goes on. After the first round leg kicks and a couple of shots to the body and upstairs as well to get Anthony Smith's respect, I think Jimmy Crute's going to go out there in the second and third round, then start to work his takedowns on Anthony Smith and have a real dominant time doing it, because Jimmy Crute's grappling is extremely underrated. This isn't some Devin Clark who had a moment against this guy where he landed a big bomb and had a good win here where he outgrinded someone. Like, this is Jimmy Crute. He's got real technical skill, 25 years of age, young guy for the light heavyweight division, and I think he's going to go out there and pass with flying colours against Anthony Smith. I will call a 30-26 unanimous decision to Jimmy Crute. The only reason being, 10-8 rounds are pretty easy to get nowadays, and I assume there's going to be at least one of them in this bout, because I just see him being able to top control Anthony Smith and sort of switch between submissions maybe in that third round with a couple of ground and pound shots here and there as well. I think round 3 is going to be a 10-8 to Jimmy Crute. Round 2 is going to be a 10-9 with the grappling, and round 1 is going to be a 10-9 with the stand-up. I think we're going to see a decision here, and I like that it's a 3-rounder for a younger guy who doesn't have as much experience as Anthony Smith going 5 rounds. If this was a 5-rounder in the main event, there's an argument that maybe Anthony Smith can be a veteran and come back in the later rounds and do quite well there, but I just feel like Jimmy Crute's got this one in the bag in a 3-rounder. Great position on the main card of UFC 261, opening up the main card as well. They know exactly what they're doing. They're trying to build Jimmy Crute in this division. Anthony Smith, 32 years of age, but he is a old 32. This is like an Aldo 32. This is not like a Stipe Miocic 32, you know what I'm saying? This is a very old guy. He's been around for ages, has been in the UFC since 2013, lost his debut, got cut, came back in 2016, and now he's been on a good run here and there, but lost some fights as well. He's had his TKO losses in his career. He's had his beatdowns in his career as well, most notably against Glover Teixeira. I mean, that was the beatdown of all beatdowns. Teeth were coming out and everything. Took a whole bunch of damage there. And I just feel like Jimmy Crute's got this one in the bag. Smith's taken this one on short notice. I know it wasn't ridiculously short notice, but still, when you're making bets and you've got a gun to my head and I have to pick a fighter to win, these are the things I'm going to be looking at. In all honesty, Anthony Smith did have a good fight against Devin Clark, but then took this one with Jimmy Crute on short notice when Jimmy Crute was training for Johnny Walker. Jimmy Crute was training for Johnny Walker at UFC 260 on the main card. Anthony Smith took the fight, but also said when he took the fight, I'm going to need this to be a little bit longer, I need more notice. Which also kind of says something, to be honest with you, the fact that Smith needed more notice for this fight to happen. Remember, Johnny Walker was at 259 or 260, one of those two cards, when he fell out of the card. Jimmy Crute needed an opponent, and instead of taking on the fight on the card that it was on, Anthony Smith requested a bit more time to get ready. That tells me that maybe at the first time that he accepted the fight, he wasn't in great fighting shape. I mean, he just snapped a loss streak against Devin Clark. I'm sure he was celebrating. It was also around that Christmas period, so I'm sure he was celebrating with his family, getting a big win. Now he's back in action against Jimmy Crute. Really looking forward to it, but I think Jimmy Crute's going to be a little bit too fast. Go to his Instagram page, Jimmy Crute, honestly. There's a thing of him hitting pads, a video of him hitting pads. There's some speed on him that is not normal for a light heavyweight. I was looking at it the other day. He's hitting pads. He's doing some boxing. He's got some weird speed for a light heavyweight with his hands. And I think that's going to be a real problem for Anthony Smith early. It's going to make him a little bit more timid. And once he starts being a little bit more timid and biting on some of those feints from Jimmy Crute and starting to react to some of those big shots, I think that's when in the second and third round, Crute's going to start to use his grappling. I just don't see Smith getting finished. So I think there's money to be made on Crute by decision. Most likely, there's also some money to be made on Crute in the first round as well, but it's Anthony Smith. It's very hard to just finish Smith and blow him out of there in the first round. I mean, even against Glover Teixeira, when he did end up losing, he was dominating that first round against Glover Teixeira, couldn't keep the pace up for too long, got cracked against Teixeira, and it was over since then. But I just think Crute's on a different level to these other light heavyweights, and that was proven in his last two performances because Modestas Bukauskas and Mikhail Aleksiejczuk had a pretty decent fight together afterwards and looked like two legit light heavyweight contenders. I know Modestas didn't get his hand raised, but he could have. It was a very close fight, but those guys looked like they belonged in the UFC. And after you watch those two fight each other and make it so close and competitive and look quite good as well, then you think back to Jimmy Crute completely dismantling both of them in completely different ways. I don't see him losing this one. He's an evolving fighter. He's very young as well. I don't remember when his last fight was. I'll check it right now. It was in October, so he's had 6 months to learn even more. It's not like he's cramming in fights like Kevin Holland and not giving himself enough time to learn, like Yusuf Zalal as well is another good example of that. He's keeping himself kind of active, but kind of not active at the same time, which I kind of like, in all honesty. He fought Mikhail Aleksiejczuk in February, then he came back against Modestas Bukauskas in October, now he's back in April. I assume that means he's going to be back at the end of the year in December at some point as well. He's taken his career very slowly. Learning in the meantime as well. I like that sign, and I think he's only lost to Misha Cirkunov, which is his only loss in his career. I'd like him to redeem that one some point down the line, but I don't see that one happening, seeing as Misha Cirkunov's coming off a loss to Ryan Spann, which I believe is going to be the next opponent for the winner of this bout. Maybe not if it's Anthony Smith, but if it's Jimmy Crute, I'd like to see him versus Ryan Spann as well, because right now at heavyweight, or light heavyweight, we got a little bit of a problem. A lot of guys have fought each other, and you kind of want to have some fresh matchups in the division. So there's 4 names right now. There's the winner of Crute versus Smith, there's Johnny Walker, there's Magomed Ankalaev, and there's Ryan Spann, all coming off wins around the same area of the division. I believe the winner of Crute versus Smith should take on Ryan Spann, because Ryan Spann, in my opinion, he didn't really deserve the shot against Misha Cirkunov. I know he went out there and ended up winning in the first round, but he was coming off a loss, and it was a split, and it was also coming off a split decision to Sam Alvey before that, and it was a first round KO to Johnny Walker, so they gave him a big jump up and a favour against Misha Cirkunov, so I think he needs one more to get some more momentum together, be on a win streak. I think the winner of this one should take on Ryan Spann, and they're probably going to make Magomed Ankalaev versus Johnny Walker as well. Good things to take place in the light heavyweight division. Looking forward to seeing how things play out, but I think Jimmy Crute's going to go out there and win a 30-26 unanimous decision against Anthony Smith. Loser of this one, if it's Anthony Smith, I can just see him continuing to fight because he's young. So as much as it could be easy to say, Smith's probably going to retire if he loses this one, I doubt that, man. Like, he's making good money. How much is Anthony Smith making, to be honest with you? Let me check. Smith versus... Let me just have a real good check at how much this guy's making in his career, because I want to know what Anthony Smith is sticking around for, because he's had so much damage. And it seems like he could very easily transfer over into a role of analyst, like on a couple of different shows, maybe get a guest feature on some Inside the Octagons, which is now shit since Dan Hardy isn't doing it, but still. Anthony Smith is making, if he wins, if he wins, $370,000. I understand why he's staying around. If he loses, he guaranteed makes $270,000? I get it. I'd keep doing you, Smith. Keep taking fights. Keep taking these short notice bouts. I don't mind. He's going to have a bit of an Arlovsky career in the light heavyweight division, but we'll see if he can win this one, because Smith is a dangerous guy. He's got good stand-up in the early rounds. Maybe he can show Jimmy Crute a couple of tricks on the ground with some submissions off of his back. But Jimmy Crute's jiu-jitsu is so high level, and Devin Clark was not really... I know I picked him to beat Anthony Smith, but that was after the Shera Pete down and the Rakic fight as well, which was kind of like... The Rakic fight to me, I know Smith hurt his leg because Rakic kicks so hard, but the Rakic fight to me, and the reason why I picked Devin Clark to beat Anthony Smith, because in that Rakic fight, it looked like Smith just fucking you know what I mean? It wasn't even like that he lost, it was just the way that he lost. It looked like he accepted it, and that was worrying to me. But now he's back against Devin Clark, looking good. We'll see what he can do against Crute, but it's not going to be good enough. The brute will reign supreme, and Jimmy Crute will get the job done. 30-26 unanimous decision. Looking forward to it, man. Good fights on this card. The prelims aren't the most stacked in the world, I'll be honest with you guys, but the main card is orgasmic in many ways, in all honesty. It's a great main card. Smith versus Crute, Uriah Hall, Chris Weidman, 3 title fights at the end. This is a good pay-per-view, but really looking forward to this one opening up the main card. Smith's, you're done, in my opinion. Against these kind of contenders, I think Smith's a little bit done. Just the way Jimmy Crute makes things look. And even if you look at the Sam Alvey bout, like, I think that at light heavyweight, the Sam Alvey fights are kind of a good way to tell just where someone is in their career. Because if you look at guys like Ryan Spann, who is now ranked in the division and has a big win over Misha Cirkunov, he, like, scraped by Sam Alvey by split decision. And some of these other guys in the division as well, like Da Un Jung, who since went on to go and ragdoll William Knight for 3 rounds and beat him very easily. He had a razor-close fight with Sam Alvey that arguably he could have lost, but it went to a draw because he barely got a 10-8 in the 3rd round. But, like, Jimmy Crute smoked Sam Alvey in the 1st round like it was nothing. He's just doing way better than these other contenders. And I think that's going to lead to him passing in flying colours here against Anthony Smith. Goodbye. Thank you for watching. Click that button up there. Toodle pip. I'll see you later. Goodbye.